This is a continuation of the presentations on the cardiovascular and circulatory systems. Aerobic exercise will increase the cardiac output and metabolic rate of the heart. With continued aerobic exercise, the heart will respond to the increased demands and be able to pump blood more efficiently. The largest blood vessels carrying blood away from the heart are the arteries. They will split off into medium-sized arterioles. These finally split into capillaries, which are the smallest vessels. These are a single cell layer thick to allow the oxygen to go into the tissues and carbon dioxide to go into the blood. The venules are the medium-sized vessels carrying blood back to the heart. These come together to form veins and are the larger vessels returning to the heart. The lumen is the hollow space inside of the blood vessel. The term lumen can be used to describe hollow spaces in organs as well. It is lined with endothelium made of simple squamous tissue inside of a basement membrane. This endothelium is continuous with the endocardium of the heart. The middle layer is myothelium or muscle, and the outer portion of the vessel is elastic tissue and collagen. The myothelium is much thinner in veins than it is in arteries. Vasoconstriction is the term used for narrowing the size of the lumen. This is generally a sympathetic response. Vasodilation refers to increasing the size of the lumen and is typically a parasympathetic response. Some of our arteries are more elastic in nature, while some are more muscular. The elastic arteries are found in those with larger diameter and have more elastic fibers in the middle layers. This allows them to immediately tighten and expand around the blood flow. The muscular arteries are in the small and medium-sized vessels and have more muscle in the middle layers. This provides a greater ability to vasodilate and vasoconstrict to adjust blood flow. This is only done in the medium and larger vessels to shift blood to skeletal muscle or the digestive organs, but you do not do both at the same time. The capillary is made of simple squamous tissue to allow for the rapid passage of substances. During capillary exchange, oxygen goes from the blood into the tissues, and carbon dioxide goes from the tissues into the blood. This process is largely controlled by diffusion to move the oxygen and carbon dioxide to the area of lower concentration. In the respiratory system, we will look at other factors that influence getting gas exchange into the tissues. Here we're going to look at a short animation on capillary exchange.
At the arterial end of the capillary, the net filtration pressure is equal to the net hydrostatic pressure minus the net osmotic pressure. The net filtration pressure is 13 millimeters of mercury. This causes fluid to move from the capillary into the interstitial fluid. At the venous end of the capillary, the net filtration pressure is equal to the net hydrostatic pressure minus the net osmotic pressure. The net filtration pressure is minus 7 millimeters of mercury. This causes fluid to move from the interstitial fluid into the capillary. Approximately 9/10 of the fluid that leaves the capillary at its arterial end re-enters the capillary at the venous end. About 1/10 of the fluid passes into the lymphatic capillaries and returns to the bloodstream via the lymphatic system.
This illustration shows the major blood vessels in the body. You will notice the blood flows to a single location through an artery and then returns to the heart via a vein. Veins have very little muscle in the vessels to move fluid, so they will have valves to prevent backflow. The valves are continuous with the endothelium, just like the heart valves are continuous with the endocardium. The veins rely partially on the contraction of the heart to push the blood, although after pushing it through all those vessels there is not much force left. In addition, fluid is moved through the pedal or skeletal muscle pump and the respiratory pump. In the pedal pump or skeletal muscle pump, the veins will have pressure exerted on them by the surrounding skeletal muscle. In the case of the pedal pump, the pressure is specifically put on the veins by the muscles contracting while walking. Without muscle contraction, the blood will pool in the veins, causing varicosities. Aside from the less than attractive appearance of these vessels, there is a risk of blood clotting while it sits in the veins, making it a medical concern in more severe cases. Prolonged standing or even sitting can contribute to the formation of these because the muscles do not contract enough to keep the fluid moving. The respiratory pump works in a similar fashion. As the lungs expand with breathing, they put pressure on the veins inside the thoracic cavity to move the blood up. Varicosities do not frequently occur here since we don't have the option to stop breathing like we do to stop walking. Here we've got an animation on varicose veins. This illustration demonstrates how the circulatory system interacts with several other systems in the body. It transports the gases acquired and released by the respiratory system, transports nutrients throughout the body from the digestive system, moves hormones and immune cells from those systems, and it brings waste to be excreted into the excretory system.